of the day. Jeff's had a busy evening. He slept here overnight because it didn't make any sense to go home. He helped set up the studio set this morning. He was out on the golf course with Logan checking on things. Jeff, great to have you this morning. Please sit down.
Thank you.
Jeff, could you kind of run through the schedule for the guys of what they can look to see out on the golf course from the beverages and also maybe we have some lunch and then maybe you can bring John Bontempo up here for a minute and we can hear about the menu.
Sure, absolutely. Thank you, Kaz. Much appreciated. Thank you. Gentlemen, for the rest of the day, the schedule of events will be lunch on the golf course. You'll find burgers, bratwurst, hot dogs at the turn. When you make the turn, we'll have it ready for you. Also, we're going to have a Derby watch party this evening. For the watch party, we'll have all the Derby going on every TV down in the Golfers Grill. We'll have some drink specials, mint juleps, obviously. And we'd like to debut Chef's new menu. So if you haven't been here in the last week or two, Chef John's got a terrific new menu. We'd love for you all to come back this evening and join us for the Derby watch party. Also, we have Bloody Mary stations out on the golf course at the 3rd and 11th holes. Yes, Bloody Marys and screwdrivers. Thank you for correcting me. Yes, I appreciate it. So, without further ado, I'll grab Chef John and bring him right back in.
Thank you very much. While Jeff is securing John, I think I would go to one of the foremost authorities in the golfing world, Peter Lowell, because I have a question to ask Peter. Recently, Peter, the R&A has a little conflict with the PGA on the belly putter. And I thought, being in the audience and the fact that you're always up to speed on the current events, would you give us maybe a little bit of which way you think this is going to happen? Chef John, come on in and join us for a second. Peter, could you kind of tell us a little, what do you think it's headed?
Doesn't make any difference.
You know, it's great that Peter has an awful lot of insight that he shared with us.
But you don't need it if you get a hole-in-one on the old number 2.
I think you've been taking your cues from Jeff Dunlap, but anyway. Chef John, glad to have you here this morning. For those that are just arriving, John, could you tell them what's on the menu this morning?
This morning we have a great omelet station, gentlemen. We have homemade potato pancakes, sausage, bacon, fresh fruit, smoked salmon. I just want to welcome all you gentlemen this morning, and I want to thank you for 13 great years at the Country Club of Hudson.
All right.
Thank you. Today at the turn, we're going to have Angus Reserve burgers cooked right off the grill, Johnsonville bratwurst, though they will both be served on a fresh brioche bun. We'll have some great chips, snacks, and things to go with it. Gentlemen, enjoy your golf today. Enjoy your weekend. Thank you very much.
Thanks, John. We have another lawyer that just sat down. You can always tell the room gets a little edgy when the lawyers start to sit down. Mr. Greg Nolfi is joining us this morning. Greg's in the house, and Greg, one of your other lawyers, Jeff Dunlap, is really not distinguished the law profession very well this morning, so we're glad that you maybe are going to provide an upgrade.
Thanks for rescuing us, Fred.
By the way, in case any of you don't know, Mr. Bonjwitz alerted me today that the Red Sox are 20-9 and lead all divisions in baseball, including the National League, I might add. But anyway, just an update in case you missed that. For those of you just arriving, Trish Saunders is my guest to the right. She's Holly Saunders' younger sister. And we're just glad to have you here and helping me with the interviewees. At this time, I think it's very appropriate that we call Jeff Camp Jr. up. He has the golf tip of the day. So Jeff, if you could maybe demonstrate what you'd like to share that with them.
Well, I was going to say chipping, but I was going to leave that to you because I'm not getting any chipping contests with you ever again.
Well, you know, it's always great to flatter the host, isn't it?
You got any chipping tips for us?
No, I think I want to leave it up to you. You kind of share a few of your swing thoughts.
All right, we're going to start. I'll go with chipping because hopefully we're doing some short shots because you're hitting some long drives. But the biggest thing, just make sure we get on your, if you're a right-hander, make sure you get your weight on your left foot in your center position over the golf ball. Everybody likes to get it too far back and we hit it fat most of the time, okay? So if we get our position right over the golf ball, that way we can catch it a little cleaner. Therefore, you're going to hit a better shot. Agree with that, my chipping expert?
I couldn't agree more. You need to lean forward on your left
Yep.
foot. Now, if you unfortunately play the game like our president,
Okay.
Now, be nice.
Make you turn around and do it from the left
I
side.
could do left side, but I might have Mr. Fossler do that though, because he was out here hitting tee shots the other day left me. So he might be a better.
I don't think we ought to disturb Les. He's eating.
Again.
So, Jeff, could you show it very quickly from the left side?
The left side, we would go on this foot, obviously,
Right.
with the center line over the ball.
So, Jim, that's your right side. You'd lean
Yeah.
forward on your right side, Jim.
I got you, Bob.
Look at Bob Raff, a native Wisconsinite, is in the house. Bob, sit down and enjoy yourself.
Thank you.
I'm not sure that Bob has a Bloody Mary. Has anybody taken care of Bob since he arrived?
He wants the bottle.
Mr. Nolfi, do you need a Kettle One Bloody Mary at this time?
No, I'm still on coffee, Bob.
All right, very good.
Bob, have you ever had an opportunity to have a match against our young pro, Jeff Camp Jr.?
I played with him the other day out there, and he was 2 under par, so he only lost 2 down, so he actually played pretty well.
The host can't lie.
Well, actually Jeffrey did beat me, but, it's always good to make sure that your pro's happy, so I kind of made a few obvious mistakes so that he would win, but,
I don't want to play him again, let's put it that way.
Jeffrey's playing very good. If you get a chance, as they say, go out with your local pro and play around the golf. At this time, I think it's important to recognize some of our winners from 2012, and as I scan the room, I'm not sure any of us arrived yet, so we're going to have to find out is we have any former champions in the house. Let's see, do we have any of the, is Mr. Fossil, did he win something this year?
Yeah,
What was it? Wasn't it
Two-man.
the two-man best ball?
Two-man.
Mr. Fossil, I know you're in the middle of eating, but we'd love to have you come up for a minute, share that experience of winning the best ball. So, Les, come on up here, please.
No, I'll let my partner know.
Les, as always, you don't get to make the rules, so. So get your butt up here, and we want to ask you a couple of questions. Mr. Dick Dotson is in the house. Let's say a big hand for Dick Dotson. Now, there's a man who's won several awards over the years. We all like his golf swing when we, Doug, Dick, you just got into your late 50s here recently, and you still swing the club very well. Hey, Les, come on up to the studio. Say hello to Tricia Saunders.
Hi, Trish. Nice to meet you.
Yeah. Sit down, best ball champion. Les, that was quite a golf experience you put on for all of us last year. Could you talk about some of the matches that you and your partner had as you worked your way through the bracket?
Well, actually, I did figure out one thing after all these years of playing here. It's all in the partner you pick. You pick the right partner, you have absolutely no problems. All I did was drive the cart, he hit the shots, that was it.
Who was your best ball partner, Les?
I can't remember his name. Doc McKinley.
Doc McKinley. Well, now he's a little bit of a sandbagger, wouldn't you think?
Well, that's why we won.
What was his handicap last year? I actually was embarrassed to ask him.
23,
No, he was.
19.
19. Come on.
I don't have any idea what he's handicap.
But it was high enough.
It was high enough, absolutely. And I picked some good partners today.
Did you really?
Yes.
Who's in your force?
Well, Jim Cleveland is, and so, it doesn't get any better than that.
Jim, I need to know, you don't look like you have a Kettle One Bloody Mary at your table, and they're going to need that if you're going to be with Les all day.
I understand that. I'm using heavy drugs.
Heavy drugs, that's very good. I did put a little deer antler spray in your cart, so, have at it. Les, you have an unusual swing that would be probably, I think of your swing, I think of Jim Furyk's swing, very similar.
Which one, the left or the right hand?
I think mainly the right side. It's very unusual.
That's a senior swing.
It's a senior swing, very good. You plan to go out and hit some balls today before you go out?
Yes, I do.
Left or right?
Right today.
Okay.
Is Peter Lowell bothering you? Should we?
Well, his hole in one doesn't count anymore because, he had his hole in one on number 2. And number 2 doesn't exist anymore, so his hole one doesn't count, so I don't care what he says.
You know that Les always has the rules for all of us to follow. I guess it's no longer a hole-in-one, Peter.
Well, but I got my drink out of them.
Look at Steve Keller here in the room. Let's give a big hand for Steve. We'd like to see you this early, Steve. Yeah, Steve was he was next to me in libations last night, and I can and whoever's team he's on. Let me just tell you a little thing about Steve Keller. Les, you can sit down now.
Thank you very much. I'm glad
You may not know this, but Steve Kelleher is got a very unique driving ability. I asked Steve a very important question. I said, Steve, how come your drives never get more than 10 feet off the ground? And he said very clearly, he goes, height is overrated. So if you play with Steve Kelleher, you're looking at a 270 to 280 yard drive that never gets more than 10 feet off the ground. So it's very important not to get in front of Steve, because it can be very painful. But Steve, we're glad to have you this morning. Do you have a good team? I was looking at the pairing sheets here, and I think we've got some people here that are going to be very happy to have you. James Cleveland, Brian Holmes, and Les Fossil. Les, you've got Kelleher on your team?
Absolutely.
And Cleveland?
Absolutely.
Jeff Jr., I think the golf committee would like you to relook at the handicaps and see if there's not some fudging going on.
Take a look at it. We'll bring it to the.
Yeah, I may have to talk to your dad about that group. Oh, look at this other loaded team. David Pratt, Phil Curry, Riley Locker-Jen, Joe Kettle One Palmieri. Wow. Anyway, let's move along a little bit. And we have some more winners in the house. Can you see if we got some more winners from 2012? Or losers, yeah, I guess that we might do that. By the way, those of you who don't know, Dave Pratt, I think, is in the house back there. And Dave, would you stand up a minute? Last weekend, Dave threw the second shot on number 13, I think. 12 or 13, he sunk it from the fairway for a deuce. So a very good eagle, Dave. We were very impressed with that. I'm really impressed that Jim Johnson is still sitting at the table and not out hitting balls.
I'm ready to go.
All right, I knew you were just biding your time and being polite, but we only have 3,000 balls out there this morning, Jim, so please leave a couple for the rest of us.
Wait till afterwards.
At this time, I'd like to, I guess he's outside, is he outside filling his face still? What happened to Bill Foley? Jim, did he step away?
Yeah, he's blew up, isn't he?
Yeah. If you could kind of find him, it would be great.
All right.
Bill's going to give us a little bit of an update on the master plan. I thought it was very important for him to share that with you.
Let me see if I can find him.
Anybody seen our president of Kettle One? President of Kettle One is going to be arriving here shortly. You haven't seen him yet. I think we need to put a phone call into Shelley. Well, just to give you all an update, I know you were watching this last night when you left this place, and on the ESPN highlights, Phil Mickelson is leading the Quail Hollow Golf Club by 2 shots. He shot a fine 67 yesterday, and he's 2 shots ahead of the field. Steve Kelleher's boy, Rory McIlroy, is 3 shots back, Steve, but he's still in contention. Bo Foster's moving to the locker room. He needs to go do his stretching. Don't hurt anything, Bo. Jeff, could you maybe think of another golf tip? We seem to be losing some of the crowd. They must be anxiously getting out to the golf course.
Another golf tip? Let's talk drivers, I guess. Let's
Yeah.
talk about the drivers.
Let's
do
talk
that.
about the driver.
Yeah,
Look at this. Look at this new club you have
Yeah, we've
here.
got 2 new clubs out here. The new TaylorMade rocket balls, which everybody's probably seen on TV. That's the newest white-headed version of drivers. This one's a 9.5 stiff. These are hotter than last year even. So they're saying about 5 to 10 yards off of these. This is the new Titleist 913 D3. What they've done with this one, they've made it hotter on the off-center hits. So if you hit it in the center, you get the same ball speeds and the same amount of distance. But if you hit it off the toe or off the heel, you actually get a little more ball speed, more distance than some of the other clubs that are out there. So this is a good back to demo day, we'll have both these clubs out there for people to try.
More forgiving on that one?
Well, both are very forgiving, but from testing from the companies, when your off-center hits with 913 are a little bit more forgiving, and you get a little more distance out of it.
Steve, you can get this one up to 12 to 15 feet off the ground, especially,
Yeah, I think he's ready.
he's ready, I think, yes.
12 and a half.
By the way, Billy Garton will be there on fitting day to give you any, some tips, because Billy's, is as you know, he handles the titleist irons better than anybody in the club. So Bill said he would be there with Jeff Jr. to lend a hand, so, it's always good. We appreciate the support, Bill. Dave Pratt, I think we need to bring Dave up and get a treasury update. I understand there's some inbound funds that things are looking up, Dave, is that true? Very good. Dave, finish your breakfast. I don't want to rush you, but again, it would be remiss if I didn't tell you to get a Bloody Mary or a screwdriver and support Kettle One, our sponsor. Is that Mike Stickler in the house? Michael, good to see you.
Oh, Bill.
Bill Foley, please come up here. We need to have a chat. Mike Stickler, by the way. Mike, do you need a Bloody Mary or a screwdriver? We have Kettle One outside. That's what I'd like to hear. Come on in here, Bill. And for those of you in the room that don't know, Bill has been working on the master plan with several of us, and we are working on the strategic plan together. And I thought it'd be good for Bill to share some thoughts for some of the people that maybe have not paid attention to what's going on.
With respect to what? What's going on with the master plan?
Yes.
Or about the
The plan.
great job you're doing this
No,
morning?
no, no, the plan of the master plan.
Can I interview you? How did you put the whole thing together?
Well, I certainly didn't call our president because he didn't know anything about morning drive, but I just thought it would be fun at breakfast that if we got together and I've been a fan of morning drive since it opened, and I like that fitness girl they have on it, Holly Saunders, so I've learned an awful lot of stretching exercises watching her, so I thought it'd be
I'll
great
take it
to
back
share.
now. We have women in the room. Master plan is essentially from the design stage, preliminary design stage, complete. And so we've sort of moved now to, okay, you like the layout of the golf course, how in the name of the good Lord are you going to pay for all this? So we're sort of at the very beginning stages of trying to understand what might be required to do that. We had one meeting with the bank to begin to understand sort of from their perspective how we might structure financing. And the one asset that we haven't really given ourselves credit for is the value of this golf course really provides, because of the unique circumstances of the geography of available real estate in this marketplace, it provides us a significant amount of collateral, which we didn't realize because we're not using that collateral today. They were very complimentary of the board and the club because if you look at our debt structure is very low relative to other clubs in the area. I mean, all in today, we've got about $600,000 of debt. That's it, which for a club of this size is pretty low. So we've got a lot of work to do. We're right now putting together sort of pro forma financial analysis of what needs to be done from a membership growth perspective, how we might market that. We had a meeting Thursday. We went down to the Lakes Country Club in Columbus to understand what they've done and how they put some of their programs together. So we're making progress. There's still a lot of work to be done. We're not anywhere near the stage of presenting the entire plan other than what you saw here at the annual meeting. So there's a ton of work left to be done. We're still doing work on the clubhouse and the pool and the pavilion bar. That's all sort of teed up together in the whole program. We haven't yet decided to whether or not we want to bifurcate it and do the clubhouse and the pool and the pavilion bar first, use that to attract new members, and then go do the next stage. There's still a lot of decision making to be done. We're not anywhere near ready to pull the trigger, but we're working on it kind of every day. Okay?
Before Bill leaves, I also want to compliment his leadership in this area. We are also developing a comprehensive strategic plan as written by a business, complete with a SWOT analysis, marketing objectives, situation analysis. All of that is going to be done from a business standpoint, and then we're going to submit that strategic plan back to the membership because we want not only transparency through the whole process, but we also want, before we go forward on anything, we want the majority of the membership as vote of confidence. So part and parcel to the master plan that he's talking about. We are writing a strategic plan so that future boards can come in and basically carry the baton forward. I'll pass it back to Bill, but it's a total process. I think one of the things he's telling you, we're not making any knee-jerk reactions here, so here, Bill.
The other thing I think it's really important to recognize, and this event today is I think a sort of an outward sign of what we're trying to do differently as a board under Jim's leadership and Jeff Quigley's leadership, is we've really tried to amp up the activity of and professionalism of what's going on with the House Committee, the social events, so that we have more reasons for members to come here. And we're frankly going to use that to attract new members, because we think if they have a better experience here, when they have a comparative decision to make, they'll come here rather than go someplace else. So the one message that we know we're going to need from all the members is we're going to need more members. We need your help to bring people in. We're going to continue to create events where you can bring members out. We're going to be looking at new ways to incent our own membership to bring members in on a sponsorship basis. So that's sort of the next step of the key here, is for us to enhance the reasons why people come and stay. We're giving some thought to how do we make this more attractive to young members to stay later than 8:30 at night, when, because this place sort of gets shut down at 8:30 at night. So we're trying to figure out ways to enhance the use of the club. So any and all ideas you have, we certainly want to know if we want to put them into our planning process.
To that point, yes, Jeffrey.
Have we looked into reassessing, reevaluating the property here? And if we have, how will that help us move forward with some of the things you're talking about?
The answer to that is yes. In fact, Jim Lang is playing golf with an appraiser tomorrow. We had a rough, in the meeting we had, the first meeting was with the bank, was with Lorraine National. And we talked to them about the fact that in this community, this property is a very unique piece of ground. I mean, if you think about this property, there's nothing like it in the area. That doesn't have a freeway or a railroad track, sort of devising it. So we asked the banker, and it was the guy who's president of Morgan Bank, what do you think that 177 acres of land is worth, not counting the part we want to carve off and potentially sell? And his idea was $60,000 to $80,000 an acre, in that range. So it's worth somewhere between $8.5 to $11 million. Okay, so we've got to get that validated. We know if we went out to do a note, the banks would want to reappraise it. So what we're doing right now is sort of building the foundational information of what would it take to do this, and in what order could we do it. We have no idea what our debt capacity is, so we're not anywhere near ready to bring anything for the membership. And that's been one of the things I think has been frustrating working on this. There's been rumors galore, saying, you're going to go down this path. We know it's going to cost $60,000 per member. We've heard everything under the sun. So this is probably a good opportunity to sort of tamp those rumors down, because we're not at that stage. And I can assure you that we're taking a very businesslike, professional approach to this. We're going to take our time and do it well. And when we're ready, we'll ask the membership for their view. And if members want to go forward with it, fine. If they don't, that's okay as well. This is a democracy here, and it's our club. But there are implications of both decisions, and that's what we have to work through as a group.
I'm going to have to break for a commercial, but before I do that, I'll call your attention to the putting green, because the member from Scotland has joined us. You all should turn a look. I think you'll see someone from the Scottish Highland is moving around out near the putting green. But Jeff Quigley has an announcement for us. Did you say from
I
commercial?
just need you for one.
Okay.